Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to give you your February 2016 general reading. I continue to use the Gilded Tarot deck, drawing 8 cards for the month, 2 cards for each week, with an additional card as your overall theme and general feeling of the month. If these don't apply or resonate the same for everyone who watches, I suggest you check your rising and your moon sign as well, as these are general videos. A special thank you, as I always like to send out to those of you who are keeping me so busy with personal readings. It is an honor and it has been a pleasure to read for those of you who have reached out for those, so thank you very much for that. And a continued thank you to those of you who continue to watch and listen and follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel and my videos. Your feedback has been very positive and I appreciate it so much. Thank you for that. I will be putting out mid-month readings this month, so you can look for those in a couple of weeks. And as this is February, that means Valentine's Day, and it is a month that we tend to focus more on love than we do most other months and relationships. So towards that end, I will be offering a few different specials on love readings for the month of February. So if you are interested in those or any other personal readings, please feel free to click on the About sign on my channel's homepage, and that will give you a little more detail about myself, the services I offer, and my contact information. And you can email me at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. So I think that takes care of all the business stuff, so let's get right into this reading. This is for Virgo for February 2016. Virgo, February 2016. What does the month of February hold for you? Virgo, February 2016. Virgo. Okay. Wow, the cards are kind of flying all over the place there, Virgo. So for the first week, we have the Ace of Wands, followed by the Three of Pentacles, the Strength card, followed by the Knight of Cups, the Two of Wands, followed by the Four of Pentacles, and the Seven of Swords, followed by the Five of Cups. And as I pull a card from the bottom of the deck to represent your general overall theme and feeling for the month of February 2016. And Virgo, you have the Fool card, my favorite card, my favorite major arcana card in the deck. So let's take a look at this. Okay, let's begin. We start the month, of course this could also be beginning at the end of January as well, the timeline of the cards not being specifically concise in beginning and endings. But we begin February with the Ace of Wands, followed by the Three of Pentacles. Now the Ace of Wands, the element is that of air and fire, and Wands is a suit that points towards change, movement, action, power. And aces represent new beginnings, the potential of new beginnings, the promise of things to come. Now seeds still being seeds, of course they need to be planted and nurtured and watered and taken care of so they can grow to fruition. But Virgo, it looks like going into February 2016, there will be some new beginnings for you, or the opportunity or option for new beginnings is what I'm feeling. Something will be presented to you that really sparks your creativity or passion, or is presented to you in a way that kind of hooks and pulls on your creativity and passion. This could have something to do for some of you with career as well, as the Suit of Wands can point towards that too. This speaks of again, creativity, intuition, but there's a lot of it's air and fire, so there's a lot of movement, a lot of emotion around this, a lot of passion and heat and creativity. Now the Ace of Wands is accompanied by the Three of Pentacles, Pentacles the element being that of earth, and Pentacles is a suit that points towards things in our tangible, physical, grounded, practical world, typically money, finances, resources, property, job, career, things of that nature. And the Three of Pentacles is a card primarily about negotiation and compromise. You can see this man is standing in front of his workspace. There's two pentacles in the air above him, and he's holding up the third one with some satisfaction and contentment. And although it doesn't show any other people in the Gilded Tarot deck, in other tarot decks, I have seen this card with the individual working with other people, which is what this card kind of points to. If you were looking to get a card that represented personal recognition for work that you've done, or a feeling of being set apart in a positive way, this would not be the card to pull. This is about people working together on a common cause or towards a common goal, and a card about compromise and negotiation towards a common end of some kind. This could also represent a challenging situation where there needs to be compromise and negotiation, where people maybe sometimes aren't necessarily seeing eye to eye. I have seen this card come up sometimes when groups of people sometimes have difficulty coming to a similar conclusion, and there is a great deal of compromise and negotiation that needs to occur. And Virgo, I feel like going into the month of February 2016, you're going to be, again, I feel like it's something presented to you, an opportunity and an option. Something is being presented to you, and it's being presented to you in a way that looks very kind of exciting. It represents an opportunity of some kind, whether it's an opportunity to work with other people in a way that kind of fires your creativity and enthusiasm and your passion somehow. It could be an entrepreneurial project or something in your work or a new job entirely. And it's either for some of you going to resonate as the opportunity to work together with a group of other people, or for some of you it's going to represent you're already negotiating, compromising, working with a group of people somehow, and this is part of what comes out of it. But either way, I feel like it's you're being presented with something that looks very attractive to you. Again, that kind of pulls on your creativity and enthusiasm and fires you up. Something something that you're passionate about, or something that is presented with a great deal of passion and emotion. A new beginning of some kind, the promise, the potential of something. Now, at or towards the second week of February 2016, we have the Major Arcana card of Strength, beautiful card, paired with the Knight of Cups. Virgo, something just kind of hit me about this Ace of Wands and Three of Pentacles, so I'm going to go back to it for just a minute. I feel like for some of you, maybe even for a larger portion of you as I look over the rest of these cards, for some of you, this opportunity that's going to be presented to you somehow, for some of you, is actually going to represent, if you choose to accept this new beginning, or if you choose to start out on this promise of a new beginning, this new project or something that you're being presented with, it's going to, in order to take it, it's going to mean that you're going to have to compromise and negotiate. And I think for some of you, that's going to resonate in a way that you're going to have to compromise something of yourself. You're going to have to compromise something of yourself in order to work with this group of people, or it's going to require a personal compromise and negotiation. And the feeling that I'm getting is that it may be kind of difficult for you or challenging for you in some way, and I'm not quite sure why I'm getting that, but I am. So somebody out there who's watching this video needs to hear it. It looks like what's being presented to you that looks so great is really attractive, and it feels like some of you are going to be tempted to take it, but it's going to represent a having to compromise in some way that might be a little challenging for you, or might go against something you believe in, or the way that a method, the way that you do something. So I just wanted to put that out there. So in the second week, we have the Strength card, followed by the Knight of Cups, and I feel like this is just very closely related. The Strength card is about that. It's about having strength, but it speaks towards not so much necessarily an aggressive, blatant kind of strength, a strength of muscle, of brawn, if you will, but more of a quiet inner kind of strength, a gentler kind of strength. You can see from the image in this on this card that this beautiful woman has tamed this wild beast, so to speak. There is a chain around his neck and it's leading to her hand. She's holding the other end of the chain. But if you look closely at this card, that chain is resting very, very lightly around this lion. He doesn't seem to mind at all, and she's holding the chain very loosely and not really pulling at it at all. And she is in motion as well. I always look at this card and I see her as in motion just from the flow of her dress and her hair blowing back behind her. Her chin is up. She is striding forward. This is about moving ahead on a path of something with courage and confidence. And it also speaks of having a gentle kind of grounded sort of strength. Music soothes the savage beast. I don't know why these um, things just flipped into my head. You can catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. Something about using a softer approach. And something is going to need to, something's going to require some strength too, because this card is accompanied by the Knight of Cups. And I feel, Virgo, that this is resonating for me as an actual individual in your life, a person in your life. Cups, the element is that of water, and cups is a suit of emotions. It can point towards love, relationships, how we relate to other people. It talks about our emotional landscape, both inner and outer. And the Knight of Cups, Knights typically being the kind of person that would come in rather swiftly. There's an aura of speed around them. So I think this represents somebody, Virgo, coming into your sphere during the month of February 2016 if they're not already there. Knights and bringing you something. Knights are the bringers of the tarot deck. When you think about the function, the role of knights in the medieval world, they were usually the ones sent out on missions and quests to retrieve a lost relic, slay a dragon, or something equally as intense. They tended to be very focused and driven individuals, very single-minded because they were quest-oriented, they were mission-oriented, they were given a purpose and they went out to accomplish that purpose no matter what might lie in the path of that. So, Virgo, I feel like this represents a person coming into your environment, your sphere somehow in February 2016. And the individual of the personality of the individual of the Knight of Cups would be somebody very dreamy, somebody very romantic. If this were somebody that were courting you, they would probably go about it in a very traditional way, wining, dining, chocolates, roses, poetry, that sort of thing. Um, a word to the caution, the Knight of Cups might be somebody also who I'm feeling somebody who's promising more than he's promising more than he can really fulfill somehow is the message I'm getting. I think that combined with the strength card, the feeling I'm getting is, and I think that this is, it's following the Ace of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. And again, I felt like something's being offered to you, something's being presented to you. It feels like it's coming in very fast. There's a lot of emotion around it, just exciting enthusiasm, passion, something being presented to you in this way. But again, I feel like for a large person for you, it's going to represent a compromise of some kind that you may feel uncomfortable with, or even might compromise part of who you are or something that you believe in, or just your own standards of maybe how you feel you're treated or what you deserve somehow. And I feel like it's directly linked to this Knight of Cups. And for some of you, I think it's this Knight of Cups that's presenting this to you or making you an offer of some kind. But the feeling I'm getting is that it's going to take a certain amount of strength and groundedness and a reality-based look at what it really is, because I feel like this person is presenting something that they can't quite follow through with, that what they're presenting may be not quite as it seems, even though it looks very attractive. Again, I'm not sure why I'm reading that, but that's exactly what's coming out, Virgo. So somebody needs to hear that message. It looks like if for those of you for whom this resonates or comes true this month, it looks like you need to be careful about things that are being offered to you that are, very attractive in terms of, being very passionate and firing you up and presenting a picture of, uh, you know, um, partner with. For some of you, this is going to be perhaps a business opportunity that's presented to you that looks really good and looks like the return's going to be really good, but be careful of how you invest in it. If this is a new love interest coming in and they're presenting themselves in a way that really kind of sweeps you off your feet. Again, the underlying piece of advice that I'm feeling from these two couplings of cards so far is to be cautious, to be thoughtful, to have a sense of your own inner strength. It looks like it's what it's going to take somehow. And the feeling I'm getting, Virgo, I'm just kind of getting this message about compromising self. Be careful of being presented with an opportunity, be it business or some other physical opportunity or even a love interest that would require you to compromise a little bit too much of who you are and what you believe in and what you stand for or how you're treated. Be very careful and cautious and thoughtful about accepting any offers or investing in any opportunities that come across as very flashy, but perhaps can't deliver in the end, be that money or finances or in love. Now, around the third week of February 2016, we have the Two of Wands. Wands, again, being that element of air and fire, movement, change, passion, action. And it is accompanied by the Four of Pentacles. Now, the Two of Wands represents, it shows a man standing at a crossroads, and it does represent that. And in the upright position, it can be quite a positive card. There's an element of choice about it, as you can see from the two distinct paths that are in front of him. This represents looking forward at something that, feeling kind of charged up and feeling like you're doing really well, feeling successful, or even feeling kind of really on top of your game, and looking towards making a decision, taking a certain path in a way that improves on that or expands it somehow. You can see this man is trying to decide which path to walk on. They both look fairly similar to each other. They're both leading off in basically the same direction. And from his vantage point, he can't see where they end up at, what the destination is, or too far down the path. So he's trying to make a decision, which is exactly what this card represents. Again, in the upright, it's a positive position. You're feeling pretty good about moving forward, as the suit of wands would imply. And again, I feel like it's connected towards this offer that's being made to you, presented to you somehow, of starting something new, again, be it business or finance or in love. And it feels like you're kind of eager to move forward, and it makes you feel very good. There's something about it that makes you feel very positive, and you're looking for ways to kind of go with it, increase it, expand on it somehow. Now, it's accompanied by the Four of Pentacles. Pentacles, the element being that of earth, it's that tangible suit. And the Four of Pentacles is a card that represents a certain holding on, and in some cases, holding on too tightly. In a relationship, this could represent perhaps being too clingy, you or the other individual. Being too clinging, holding on to something. It can represent being closed off and not being willing to open up, to let go. Business and finances, it could refer to being kind of stingy or just being very budget conscious. This man has four lovely, big, beautiful pentacles in his arm, but he's holding on to them very tightly. The implication being that if he lets go of any of them, he may not be able to retrieve any that he drops. It could also represent having already lost a fair amount and not being willing to let any of these go for fear of losing what you have left. And Virgo, in terms of the coupling of these cards, the Two of Wands and the Four of Pentacles, let me just take a look at these for a minute. So I feel like this is going to resonate a couple of different ways depending on who's watching it. I feel like for some of you, I see this card, this Four of Pentacles, this holding on card, come up sometimes after somebody has already lost something or after they feel they've already lost something. and it's a sense of trying to hold on to what you have left and holding on very tightly to that. And as it's attached to the Two of Wands, I feel like that's playing a significant role, a significant factor in which one of these paths you're considering taking. I think that for some of you, this represents a fear of taking either one of these paths or perhaps taking one over the other because you've either lost something or you're afraid of losing something. I think that's going to be a significant factor for some of you. And for others, this is going to represent a fear of trust as well. For those of you for whom this is resonating more as a love reading in terms of this new offer actually being a new love interest or somebody, presenting themselves or presenting, wanting to have a relationship with you and it being very, moving very fast and being very passionate and fired up. But it represents a certain holding back, a certain unwillingness to open up. And what I'm getting with that in terms of for whom that resonates with, just a sense of being hurt in the past or having been taken from in the past and being afraid to open up and being afraid to trust is what I'm getting. So it's going to resonate completely differently depending on who's watching this. I think for some of you, this is going to represent a business opportunity. It looks like you need to be really cautious about it, particularly if you're asked to invest something or compromise something in order to act on this supposed new beginning. And for some of you, this is going to resonate as a new love interest or somebody who's wanting to perhaps that you've started dating take the relationship a little bit further or maybe make it exclusive or something of that sort. But again, there's something about it that's going to require some negotiation and compromise and a fair amount of strength. And it looks like whether this is a love interest or a business proposition, it looks like you're going to need to be very careful about looking behind the scenes and reading the fine print because what's being promised may not be able to be delivered in the end. And that it puts you at a crossroads, Virgo, on either end where you're not really sure which path to take. You're kind of struck by the vision of it all. It looks very good and it feels there's something about it that implies a lot of speed and enthusiasm and movement and passion. But there's something about it. There's a holding on too tightly to something, perhaps being afraid because perhaps some of you are looking at perhaps for some of you, some red flags are going up and it's making you hold back a little bit, hold a little bit more tightly. And perhaps some of you, it's about wanting to move forward, but you've lost so much in the past. It's caused you have some doubt. You have a fear of trusting and of opening up again. So again, it's going to resonate differently. Now, at or towards the end of the month, we have the Seven of Swords, followed by the Five of Cups. Now, the Seven of Swords, the element is that of air, and swords is a suit that points towards our thoughts, our ways of thinking, our perspective, our ideas. That's a very mental, cerebral suit. It's about reasoning. It's about what we really think up here. The Seven of Swords I've heard referred to as the thief card. There's a certain amount of slipperiness and deceit attached to this card. You can see it shows a man who's snuck into somebody else's home and he has taken up a bunch of their swords or their property and he is making off with it. And he's looking back over his shoulder with kind of a sneaky, smirky look as if to say, look what I'm getting away with. Now, he hasn't managed to take everything, but he's taken quite a bit with him. This can point to somebody actually taking something from you. And again, for those of you for whom this is a business proposition or you're being asked to invest in something, again, the cautionary advice for those of you for whom this resonates that way would be to be very careful about that because it looks like the potential for it not being real or for you to lose whatever you invest could be significant. For those of you for whom this resonates as a love reading, again, the advice would be the same. Now, for those of you, and I think this is a smaller portion for whom this is a love reading, and I feel like there are those of you watching this for whom something looks really, really good that's been presented to you, and you want to move ahead on the path because it makes you feel very good and very confident about yourself, but there's still this kind of holding back and this being kind of closed off because of things that have happened in the past. You're afraid they're going to repeat again. this is just kind of resonating as your overall theme. You're afraid somebody's going to take something from you yet again. Someone's going to disappoint you and break your heart yet again. Basically, this card in that situation could represent just really being taken advantage of in an emotional sense. And for some of you, perhaps even emotionally and financially, if that's happened to you in the past before, because it is accompanied by the Five of Cups, cups being that suit of emotions. The Five of Cups I always look at as the card of lack, the card of want and need, the card of crying over spilt milk, of focusing on what you no longer have instead of what still lies behind you. You can see this man is kind of knelt over in the grass. He's very sad. He's lamenting over these three cups that are spilled over. He's mourning what has been lost, what has been taken from him. For those of you for whom this resonates as trying to get over past hurt, past disappointments, past heartbreak, even those of you for whom this resonates perhaps as a business or finance reading, this would represent focusing on what's been taken from you or what you invested in that didn't work out before. You can see all his attention is focused on these three cups that are spilled over. But this is the Five of Cups, not the Three of Cups. There are still two cups upright behind him in the grass, upright and still full, but he's not looking at them. He's not noticing them because his back is to them. He's focusing only on what no longer is, what he no longer has. And the very clear advice to this card would be turn around, look what's behind you, look what you still have or what's being offered to you, because we can't look in two directions at once. We can't look forward at the same time and look backwards. So the advice of this card would be to stop focusing on the past, stop focusing on what you no longer have or what has been taken from you, and look around at what still remains or what options you still have, what's being offered to you right now. So Virgo, I think, coupled with this Seven of Swords, again, I feel like I'm reading two or three different stories for two or three different sets of Virgos. So for those of you for whom this resonates as a business opportunity, again, I'm just getting the feeling of being very careful about it. Not to say that it is fake, but or false in some way, but it may require an investment and a compromise from you that you're not comfortable with. So be very careful about reading the fine print and be thoughtful about considering everything before you move ahead on this. And it could be a very viable, positive thing in business or a relationship as well, but you're hesitant to move down one of these paths. You're holding on to what you have left because of what you feel has been taken from you in the past or what you have lost in the past. This coupling of cards too also represents an inability or unwillingness or extreme difficulty with being able to trust again. Now, the overall crowning cards you got as your overall feeling, general theme and advice of the month, and I feel like it's actually advice too, is the Fool card, which is my absolute favorite major arcana card. The Fool card represents the zero. It is the zero. It is the beginning of the beginning. It is the breath before you take the first step. It represents that place where you stand and anything is possible. Everything is possible. It represents having the kind of childlike wonder and joy and enthusiasm in every step that you take, in being in the moment. It's a carpe diem sort of card. It's about not being so focused and obsessed with the destination, but enjoying the journey, which is the underlying advice to this card. To live in the moment, to enjoy the journey. Don't worry so much about the destination or where you're getting to. Enjoy the journey. For those of you for whom this resonates as a love or relationship reading, don't be so goal-oriented and so focused on that. Enjoy the steps. It will help you deal with any fears and insecurities and trust issues that you have as well. The Fool is not concerned with the destination. He's probably not even concerned with whether or not he's packed enough socks for the journey. He's living in the moment. He's enjoying the beauty and the wonder of every step along the way of the journey. For him, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. This card represents new beginnings, beautiful new beginnings. It represents the potential of what the journey can be. So as your crowning card, that kind of bolsters the whole thing about you began with new beginnings with the Ace of Wands. It looks like for some of you, this is just going to represent this being a viable opportunity at looking very good, but you're being afraid because I think of past baggage and past fears and what's been taken from you in the past. and fearing that that will happen again. And always there's a bit of a cautionary advice too on be careful about what's being offered to you, particularly if it involves an investment of you that leads to compromise in a way that you're not comfortable with. But the overall theme being new beginnings and that it's time to move on. So probably for the larger portion of you, this is going to represent moving forward on a path that you're perhaps reluctant to or a little bit stuck on because you're afraid of the past repeating itself. So Virgo, what an interesting reading to have. I'm interested to hear, of course, always how this resonates with you. I do often get emails and messages on YouTube as well on how readings resonate for people. And I like to see how the cards play out um, for those with whom it does resonate. I try to respond to each one, even if it's only to like, but I do read them all. So please feel free if you're comfortable doing so and sharing that with me. Again, if you're interested in personal reading, you can email me at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I hope you've enjoyed this reading and that it's given at least some of you a little bit of wisdom and insight and clarity on food for thought on the path to come. I look forward to seeing you in the mid-month readings. And as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Thanks for watching, Virgo. I'll see you in a few weeks. Bye.